Hello everyone, welcome back to Path of Spirals Tarot. My name is Claire. I do readings here on YouTube 5 days a week, so if you like long form readings or shorts, because I provide shorts Tuesdays, Thursdays, long form readings Monday, Wednesday, Friday, please feel free to subscribe. Also, sharing is caring. If there's a reading that you felt really resonate with somebody that you know, please feel free to send it along. And today we are going to be using strictly the Animal Spirit deck, and we're going to do a relational reading. You know, every reading I do every week, I just like to do very varied readings. So we're going to do a 4-card pull today that's going to represent you, the other person, a shadow dynamic or something that has yet to be explored within that relationship, and then an illuminated dynamic. Now, what kind of relationship could this be? Any kind. Luckily, our animals will be sure to signal to us whether it's platonic, whether it's like transactional, like in the workplace, if it's romantic, if it's familial. Let's have a little look and see. Today's glyphs, I always watercolor these myself with masking fluid and Arch's watercolor paper. And yeah, we have a little like margarita or a little summer drink. We have a flower, and we have a pyramid with the all-seeing eyes, kind of giving Illuminati. Okay, we're gonna go with group 1 to start. So if that's the reading that feels like it's resonating the most with you, stick around. We're gonna get into it. Oh, where did she go? Blue, she wanted to fly away. Take mental note that the drinky poo was trying to fly away, probably because it's still winter. Too cold outside for a cold drink. Okay, now I call in sources, highest timelines for us, Allah's mercy, God, source, Hashem. However you connect, you're welcome here. Abrahamic, pagan, whatever it is, however you connect, it's all sacred. Intention matters. And you're a spiritual, esoteric baddie, come on through. We love to hear from you. We love to see you here. Okay, on top of that, we call in highest timelines, totem animals, ancestors. And by ancestors, specifically as I'm doing the reading, I call in my ancestors and any guides that come through to help me in my readings. Now, just so you know, I consider myself, I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I also consider myself a mystic. I also do shamanic journeying. I am something of a death doula. I don't like officially have that as like a job I've done, but I have done a lot of like death care adjacent work for people that come into my life, or the souls have come to me as well. So I have a lot of different kind of energies in the soup of Claire's aura that show up, and you know, I'm just doing tarot readings here today, but I tap into a lot of different stuff. With that being said, I call in all of those different energies that help me give the best reading possible for the highest good. I call all of that in today, and I put a crystalline dome over the reading as we traverse a relationship dynamic. Good energies in, bad energies out. Protection wards are up at the function. So let's see a card that represents you in this dynamic. Oh yeah, there's this one. A card that represents the other person in this dynamic. Oh, I feel like Wendy Williams. Oh, a card that represents a shadow of the relationship, and then a light, illumination. Now, can you see all of these in the frame? Let me see here. No, you cannot. But let's go like this. How about you, them, shadow, illumination. Bada bing, bada boom. Shadow, illumination, you, them. Okay? And we can see all of our cards. You are the treasure. Oh, jump scare. They are the phoenix. Oh, a lot of red. The shadow dynamic. De turtle. Oh, an illuminated dynamic. Superficial. Okay, what an interesting, I feel like Wendy Williams right now. Clap if you're against that. I have a cheat sheet for these cards. I also have the book, so if we want to read anything, we can. But already we have fire, spirit, water, and water. So the illuminated and shadow dynamics of this relationship are deeply emotional and or spiritual. But the energies themselves, we have the phoenix represents base chakra, rising from the ashes. The other person is like coming into themselves after perhaps being in a very difficult place. Something that comes to mind is actually kind of medical. Is medical. Like a medical, like overcoming something medically. Okay. Well, I just gotta trust what I'm channeling, okay? And then the tarantula, you being tarantula, that is an interesting place to be in. Because I don't think it's the highest. Let's see. It's number 6. A great decision must be made. Okay. And then the spirit card is about release of heavy karma / ascension. Turtle is about at home in the self and telling your story. Okay, so a shadow dynamic would be under communication between the two of you. And there's the illuminated dynamic is quite contrast. Oh, wow. Interesting here. So the starfish, as beautiful as it is, represents a superficiality, not going that deep, but also wanting things to look a certain way, wanting them to be a certain way than they kind of actually are. So something tells me this dynamic has confusion. It has a lot of emotional heaviness, and sort of being at the precipice of making a decision. I mean, the phoenix rising from the ashes also says that like wherever this person has been, they're no longer going to be there anymore. And for you, you sort of feel almost like you have to make a decision based on that. Okay. I want to read a little bit more about the tarantula. This is one of I have a 2-year-old son. This is one of his favorite cards because I let him play with these cards sometimes. And whenever he finds the card, he goes, Spider-Man! Ah! And he runs around the house, Spider-Man! I have a lot of feelings coming up here, so I'm just buying myself time because I don't have the most positive things to say right now. Where even is this? Oh, maybe it doesn't say. Fire? Is it over here? Sorry. Oh, I just saw it. Yeah, at a crossroad, claiming life's purpose. The tarantula represents a moment when a great decision must be made. It involves prioritizing your life's deeper purpose or dharma. A habit or routine from the past is sidetracking you from your dream, yet a voice inside keeps begging you to refocus your attention. In order to find true happiness, you must choose dharma. Until you do, satisfaction will be fleeting. The tarantula hovers patient and calm, like an old friend that knows your inner soul. It already knows you'll choose wisely. So follow your intuition. Okay, this is about the relationship going their separate ways. You knowing a decision needs to be made, an undeniable decision. This other person has been through something very big, like a big life shift for them, and it's making you guys go like this. Also, I don't know if you would see a tarantula and a phoenix in the same room. You guys also don't seem to be very compatible with communication, and like communication is very essential to any type of friendship or connection or actual relationship. I could read this platonically because plenty of us have, platonic relationships, but I do feel like this is a bit more of the, like a type of romance of some sort. Starfish, with the starfish being at the function, it's, anytime I've pulled this card for people when it comes to like, I've just pulled this for people, and it's always for people who are in relationships where things look like peachy keen, but there's a lot of issues underneath the surface, and it always stems from not really being able to properly communicate what one is thinking, how one is feeling, and that creates a whole slew of problems. But they're sort of united in their needs to prioritize an outer looking face. So I feel like this is how the dynamic actually held itself together. But since I believe it's the other person, like not you, or there is something the other person did that created this sort of catalyst, this catalytic energy, it really illuminated like the dynamic here, such that there's no path forward living the same exact way. And I do feel like this is a sort of a reading to give confirmation that it's okay. Like, just trust that if things are kind of being pulled in different directions and it's just not going to work anymore, that's because something better is going to come for the both of you. And sometimes, you know, we have cycles and seasons for both friendships and relationships. And sometimes we just need that little extra push to say, like, this is just how the cards played out. Like, I've been through situations in my relationships, my dynamics, where, like, you couldn't have imagined things working out, but they still did. And sometimes it's the opposite. You would have thought it could have worked out, and people on the outside thought, like, they seem so great together. But in reality, there's nothing that could keep you guys together. That is also how it is sometimes. And that's okay. All right, so group one, we're gonna let that be. All done. All right, group two, thank you for being here with me today. Now we can go here. Let's figure out what's going on with this relationship. What do you need to know? This is you. Oh. This is them. Shadow dynamic. And illuminated dynamic. Okie dokie. You, the spider. Okay. They are, fire ant. Ant. The black egg is into shadow. And what's been illuminated is the hyena. My cards are giving me a rough time today. Group one was basically like not the most positive reading. And already off the get-go here, I'm saying group two got some interesting dynamics going on. Spider's a nice card, and that's you. And that's the positive part of this reading. Let's see. Spider is an earth card here. Be process-oriented for abundance. Okay, so it's kind of a message to be process-oriented, because when we think about a spider, when it's building its web, its beautiful, intricate web, that takes time, attention to detail. So this would tell me that you're somebody who puts in the hard work, puts attention to detail. Something's telling me that you just like have your life all in a row. Like you can keep the mandala of all dimensions of life flowing and you're just chilling. I like that that is like what you naturally are. Now the other person is exceedingly inflammatory. If we were to put this on the ranking of like 1 to 14 in a minor arcana set for fire, this is like card 2 or something, so it's pretty low. No, it's the first card. Be mindful of gossip, blame, and stewing. Okay, so this person in your life, I'm feeling how this spot's coming up for me. This is a quote-unquote friendship. All right, this is a very classic. Look at everything you have going on. Beautiful web. And then they're like fire ants, you know, gossip, blaming, stewing. Really, really crummy life outlook. Very crummy perspective on what God has given them. They don't seem to be very generous. Maybe not very giving. Not secure in themselves. People who are secure in themselves, successful, positive, glowing, want to be generous, want to be helpful, want to be uplifting, and many people are not in that space. So something tells me group 2 is definitely in the ladder of that energy. Now, what's not illuminated is the black egg, and this is about being able to speak your truth, put up boundaries, say what needs to be said, struck the unstruck sound, and just say what needs to be said. But what is illuminated at this current time is some tomfoolery. Like you're aware that there is some weird stuff going on here, but what's not illuminated and what probably won't be illuminated is confronting the person. Somebody who has fire ant energy doesn't want to hear rationale. They don't want to hear intellect. They don't want to hear logic. They don't resonate with truth and accuracy, but they do benefit from parasitically leeching off of your energy by obfuscating your web and creating drama, because people who are not happy, healthy, successful, in a good mental health state, their default is to try to unhinge you when you're doing well. Okay? But the remedy is never to confront them about it. Like, people at their grown age of being an adult, when they move weird, they either know what they're doing or they don't have the mental faculties to know that what they're doing is wrong. But usually it's the former. They know exactly what they're doing. They might not know why they're doing it, but they make concerted efforts to do weird things to try and cause harm because they are dissatisfied. And like, that is honestly just like a horn of the devil. Like, it is what it is. Now, the hyena is about comedy. Tomfoolery, shenanigans. The hyena is like an energy that everything's a joke. Like, it's not that deep. Like, don't worry about it. Like, this person sort of like will say something that hurts you and you don't really respond, but like they're doing things where the net outcome energetically is negative and harmful, but they'll bypass it by being like, well, don't be so sensitive, like, or they'll make it about themselves, or they'll just joke about it. They'll bypass the harm that they're causing. And the hyena's not the most enjoyable animal, if I'm being totally honest. I don't know. He's not my favorite when I see him here. But you got 2 fire cards. You're the grounded one, but there's a lot of fiery, weird energy. Hyena is going to be, the second card here. The unfulfilled jokester. So this person's unfulfilled, not satisfied with themselves, but they probably deal with that in some way by making a joke of everything or trying to make you the butt of the joke, for example. And I don't know if this is like workplace harassment or if this is just like friendship. It's the energy's certainly giving high school, but people graduate and still don't grow out of it, so the energy is like very, very much like, it's okay when you're a teenager or like a middle schooler and like you have to develop an ego and also like interpersonal understanding. Like, you have to test the waters to see like, how do people react when you do something good or bad. Like, your ego is suddenly alive and well when you're in high school, and you have to kind of learn how to navigate that while your brain's still developing. So in that way, this energy is appropriate. It's a tale as old as time. You would see this again, it's giving like bullying, it's giving cyberbullying. But as we get older, there's no excuses. And also for you to have this person around, like, are you choosing this or do you have no choice? I sort of feel like maybe it's an energy that like you've just been tolerating, partially because you're so secure, and like maybe you also see them a little bit as like a charity case. But something we need to know is that like there's only a certain limit. There is a limit. There's only so much that we can do to help somebody who doesn't really want to help themselves. You can't really lift them when they're so dense, and it's not your job. Like, you're intertwining your dharma and karma with theirs a little bit too much when you enmesh yourself too much. And what's the point of that? What's the point of that? You know what I mean? Like, you're the flower that needs to blossom, but you can't blossom when their shadow is, always being cast over you. So it sort of feels like you just haven't fully clocked this energy for being as like toxic as it is, / you just might be one of those people that always wants to help. You might have been raised in an environment where like maybe being overly enmeshed with people and just like accepting that like loyalty to certain individuals in your life is really important. I mean, you could also read this as a familial dynamic, like if you can't really get out of it. And with the web being that, web could also indicate family, with a high school energy. This illuminates what's happening as far as what you can and should do. That's a very sensitive thing. I couldn't give like a black and white answer for how to navigate some of this. Like, if it's a friend, if it's like a low stakes person, it's much easier to like, subtly extract yourself from that and just like, pull your energy back to you and disengage. If it's family, that is like 100 times more complicated, and that would be like a case by case basis. Ideally, like, we would see that as something that's very toxic, and we'd find a way to, distance ourselves or unentangle ourselves from it. Some people don't have that luxury. Like, it's too culturally taboo to like put yourself first when like your family's being really messy. For others, it's easier. And I think part of it is just also understanding, at the very least, that what they do is what they do, but what you do is what you do. And it's not the point to tell them that what they're doing is weird, because on some level they know. Okay? That's all I'm really going to say about group 2. All right, group 3, my Freemasons, my conspiracy theorists. Well, nowadays conspiracies aren't feeling so much like a theory anymore, and more like a proven hypothesis. Or what would we say? The theories aren't just theories anymore. They're cold hard facts. uh, okay. You, the other person, a shadow, and an illumination. This is you. This is what you're bringing to the function. Oh, I see it. Them. Spicy cards. I had 2 spicy readings just now. If you're only tuning in for group 3, group 1 and 2 was not all sunshine and rainbows, not gonna lie. But sometimes we just gotta hear what we gotta hear, and the cards never lie, so I'm just gonna tell you what I see. And this one, I'm feeling 2 illuminated things. I hope this is a more positive reading. No pressure, Claire, it's fine. You are the dragonfly. They are the raccoon. Shadow is the horse. What's illuminated? Oh, I already like this. Oh, much better. This is a much better reading. Great. Okay, you're an air sign. They're an earth sign. There's a shadow, a not yet illuminated dynamic is the horse. What is illuminated is dragon and tiger. So I already see this as you are 2 individuals that have gone through a lot together. I could see this as sibling, or I could see this as I see this as a very long-term partnership. It could be just into 2 individuals who have seen a lot of the same things together for a long period of time, and it has not been easy. It has not been easy. What's illuminated is within this dynamic, you are both comfortable walking through a lot of darkness together and sort of being at peace together in that darkness, and that you guys are still getting things done. Like, you're still moving. Dragon energy is very much that solar plexus chakra. It is very, when I meet dragon people, I am in reverence for them. So for you both to have that energy together tells me as a pair, as a duo, whether it's siblings or it could be just an actual relationship, the energy that you guys bring together and bring out in one another is just such a blessing. And that is so nice to read. In my cheat sheet here, my handy dandy notebook, dragonfly represents a calm mind for better discernment. Okay, so this would indicate that you're an individual who, I would read this more as you're an individual who can be beautiful and all over the place. It's giving ADHD, but kind of flighty. And sometimes certain life situations require you to sit a little bit more still to have better discernment over a situation. And then the raccoon is about a creatively stagnant individual, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. The raccoon is, talent hidden in the shadows. So the both of you together have maybe been through so many things, and life has just been so seasonally giving in its lessons, that it has sort of forced this individual's natural inclinations, natural affinity for whatever talent they have to be suppressed. And that would that's something that you're aware of. You're aware of how they move, they are aware of how you move, but it's you guys are both trying to work on that together. You're just aware that each of you has those energies that cause challenges for you. And every person coming to earth is going to have different lessons. Every person is going to have their hard, and your hard is learning how to be still. And a lot of whatever chaos comes out of your life is from you being too flitty and all over the place. Dragonflies are beautiful, but damn, could you just sit for a minute? Sometimes they rest on the water, but they are moving and they're up in the air and they're always flying around. Okay, now the raccoon is an individual who has, they come out at night. They know where to go digging to find the things that they like. But they are a little bit, they can be seen as sort of stagnant, lethargic, slow moving, and staying within domains that are most comfortable to them. So they are an earth sign. They're more grounded. So I could see that this would be a compatible, you bring something to them that they don't bring to you and vice versa. But it's almost a little too slow moving. And that seems somewhat based in maybe trauma, based in, maybe some self-work. This individual needs to believe in themselves more. Now, the horse being a shadow dynamic, something that has yet to be illuminated, the horse is the master of earth, and this is all about forward momentum. We're also going into the Chinese New Year now, where the horse is going to be our horse for the year, at least in, Eastern thought. But the horse is the most masterful earth energy, with stamina and mental focus being mastered. So if this is in your shadow, stamina and mental focus have yet to be available. So something tells me that what we're kind of looking at here, what we're seeing is this wants to be illuminated. There's a situation you all are coming out of whereby the waters are still continuing to settle, but there's a restlessness that's going to come between the both of you, and it's going to require a different type of momentum and maybe a different direction. Y'all have been very good at handling and sort of making the most of a situation that you've been through, but don't overly identify with it and continue to keep moving. Like there's an earth side stability that wants to come in within this dynamic for the both of you, which represents, like, think about like King of Pentacles, like think of that kind of energy. It's sort of in the shadow and it wants to be brought forth, but it can't be when their talents are stagnant and you aren't able to have discernment. So what can each of you do to step forward into those energies? I think it would be better utilizing what you guys already have together, but making more plans. Like it seems like you guys are co-creating a life together, or you guys have a lot of orbit, a lot of overlap in each of each other's lives, sort of basket weaving side by side, if you will, because you have these shared characteristics, like very spiritually, like in touch with the world, artistically in touch, but maybe needing even more grounding. Like you both definitely need some kind of grounded energy. So that would be like routines, schedules. Like understand that, like, also Raccoon, if you want to have like, you know, some success with some creative talent, you won't get there if you don't, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but if you don't know how to do accounting, if you don't know how to follow a schedule, if you don't know how to like lock in, then you don't have a safe container to move forward with this horse energy. And same thing for you. If you're not grounded, Dragonfly, in your energies, it's going to be the same thing. Like you're moving all over the place, but a horse is moving with a sort of a direction in mind. A dragonfly has a very eccentric like flight pattern. Okay, so that's my advice for group 3. Y'all are trying to ascend to the top of the pyramid, so y'all need to kind of lock in and take on the energy of knowing that living on earth is part of the experience of being a spiritual being in a human body. And your lesson is to take these energies and transmute them into something useful with momentum and purpose, so that it's not for naught, that it doesn't go to waste. Okay? That's group 3. Okay, everyone, thank you for tuning in to Path of Spirals Tarot. My name is Claire. You can find me here on YouTube 5 days a week, whether it's shorts or larger, longer grouped readings. Please like, comment, share if you could possibly do that. Sharing is caring. If there's a reading or a specific group that you listen to that you know somebody should listen to, then pass that message along if it feels in alignment. And comment below. I would love to hear what group you picked. Did it resonate? These were quite spicy readings today. They didn't mince words. And that's like one of the things about like doing relational readings is like, you never want to be the bearer of bad news. But I don't mind being the bearer of honest news. You know what I mean? So we'll see you in our next video. Have a great rest of your day in this divine realm and our Kairos timing. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.